Welcome to the Speechie Show. Being a speech-language pathologist often means having too much work and not enough planning time. To beat the overwhelm, we're bringing you the tricks and tools that will make your job a little bit easier. Hey everybody, welcome to the Speechie Show. I am here today with Lauren DiBiase. Did I say it right?
DiBiase.
DiBiase, there we go. And she is from SLPLaurenDiBiase.com. And today we are talking about perspective taking. So we are talking about helping our students who have social language problems be able to take the perspective of someone else, which can be quite a challenge for some of our students, especially those with autism or pragmatic language disorders. So if you're new to the show, my name is Carrie Clark. I run speechandlanguagekids.com, where I have resources for speech-language pathologists and parents. And we do this show, the Speechie Show, once a week. We try to do it every Monday afternoon. And we get on with another speech-language pathologist, and we chat about one topic, give you 5 tips and tricks, and then we're going to share some resources and do a giveaway. So if you're watching with us live on Facebook, stay tuned for that giveaway. That'll be in just a few minutes. And while we're getting everybody on here, looks like we have some people coming on live. Go ahead and type in yes or no. Are your students having trouble with perspective taking? I'd like to see how far spread this is. Do you guys have students with the perspective taking issues, or is this not something that you're dealing with a whole lot right now? So, Lauren, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you've got going on right now.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Lauren DiBiase. I am an SLP who right now works for the New York City Department of Ed in Queens. I also run a blog, SLPLaurenDiBiase.com, and I'm on TPT under the name Lauren DiBiase. So I'm talking about perspective taking today because a lot of my students this year have autism or are emotionally disturbed, and I'm seeing this common trend of students who are struggling to make friendships, struggling to build relationships because they cannot take the perspective of another student. So I've been really researching, I've been pinning, I've been finding ways, creative ways to make learning about other people's perspectives fun.
That's wonderful. And Lauren has a giveaway that she's doing today that is a social skills pack. So hang tight for that. Plus we'll be doing the giveaway for my membership. So if you want to hang tight for that, we'll have a giveaway for that as well. And don't forget to share this Facebook Live so we can spread it to other people as well. So we're going to jump in with 5 points. We're going to talk about 5 tips for working on perspective taking. And the first one we're going to talk about is group therapy versus individual therapy. Lauren, tell us your take on group versus individual.
Absolutely. So obviously you have to go based on your student's mandate. Are they mandated to be in a group? Are they mandated to be individual? Or do you have kind of a combination of both? I always recommend when you're working on social skills to group your students. It's wonderful if they learn to perspective take with an adult, but in life they need to be able to do it with their peers, in their classrooms, all over. So if you have a group session, great, put your kids together. If you're scheduled to see them individually, I highly recommend pushing in to some subject that engages many students, be it their art class, lunchtime, or recess. Just check with the teacher, get their permission first so that you're not overstepping your boundary, but always target perspective taking with other students.
I love that. I think we kind of overlook that sometimes when we have such crazy schedules that it may actually be best for those students to be with other students. If you guys are watching on this live, go ahead and type in if you see your perspective taking students in group or individual. Just type that in the comments, group or individual, so we can get a feel where everybody's at. And if you guys have any questions as we go along, go ahead and type those in and we'll answer those as we go as well. So our first tip was to do group therapy versus individual. Our second tip is to talk about being wrong versus being different. Go ahead and tell us what that looks like.
So there's so many foundational skills needed before a student can correctly perspective take and respect the other student's perspective. So I always try to start teaching that some things are different, but that doesn't mean that they are wrong. A lot of the times I'll do it in a survey kind of format. So on my whiteboard, I'll ask a question that has some kind of very concrete visual Let me be specific. I might ask, what color is your hair? What color are your eyes? What color is your shirt? Something that's visual. And then I'll ask my students, what do you think everyone's going to say? What do you think? And they'll always answer with their own answer. If their hair is black, everyone's going to say black. If their shirt is purple, they're going to say purple. So everyone hears everyone else's answers. And then I start surveying each student, and I write their answer on the board as they go. So yellow, blue, black. At the end of the lesson, visually, the students become aware that, oh, look, there were all of these other answers that aren't actually wrong because, oh, look, Joe's shirt is purple even though mine is blue. So the visual will be there, and then I follow it up with a verbal discussion that just supports that same lesson. Just that it's the beginning teaching that everyone is not the same, but it doesn't mean that other people are wrong.
Oh, I think that's so key because that really makes it very concrete and helps them see that difference, as opposed to my way of thinking is the only way of thinking. I think that's great.
Right.
All right, we had a couple people, oops, I'm covering the camera again. I keep doing that. A couple people chime in. It looks like they were doing some group therapy. So good, it looks like we have some people doing group therapy already.
Great.
All right, so we've talked about doing group therapy for perspective taking and talking about being wrong versus being different. So the next tip we're going to talk about is teaching the difference between opinion and fact. Now, how do you go about doing that?
I usually give some carrier phrases out to my students. I'll ask everybody, if they're literate, I'll ask them to fill in a blank. Or if they're not literate yet, we'll do it verbally. But I'll say, okay, everybody, in your head first, I want you to fill in the end of this sentence. The best thing ever is, and then I'll do the same thing, but I'll say, okay, everybody, I want you to start this sentence. Something blank is horrible. And as the students start to share their response, it's really fun because no matter what kids you do it with, they will all start calling out with yeah, or no way. If someone yells out that cheese is their favorite, cheese is the best, you're always going to get another kid who says I hate cheese. And it's so easy to start a discussion on, wait a minute, Maria likes cheese, but you, Brad, you don't. You have different opinions. And then I'll start to teach facts by saying facts are things that everybody will agree on. Today is Tuesday. Does anybody not agree with me? The month is February. I am 9 years old. Things that everybody will agree on. And then we talk about how, your opinions are different, but everyone has to have respect for everyone else's opinion.
That's wonderful. I really like how this is just kind of gradually increasing their knowledge of perspective taking through these really concrete activities.
Yes.
All right, if you're watching with us live, stay tuned. We're going to do a couple giveaways here in just a minute. And go ahead and type in any questions that you have as we're going along. And don't forget to share the Facebook Live video. All right, so we've talked about group therapy, wrong versus different, opinion versus fact. Now let's talk about facial expressions. What do you do for this, Lauren?
So facial expressions are key to perspective taking. If you look over and you say something to your friend and they frown, you have to know, okay, a frown means they're not happy. They're not happy. Why? So I just do, and my kids love this because what kid doesn't love a good mirror? We get a mirror and we get either a picture of a facial expression to try and match in the mirror, or I tell them an expression. And what we do is, with parent permission, we take a picture of my face and their face, either laughing or happy or angry. We take a picture, we print it out, and we glue it in the parent-teacher communication book with the emotion written underneath. That way they can practice with their guardian at home as well, so that we're working on the same things at school and at home. The kids love doing it, and if you get permission from the parents of all the children in your group, you can use the pictures of all your students. You can do, it's cards. You could do go fish. You could do matching. You could stick them on the wall and turn the lights off and look with a flashlight for a certain emotion. There's so many fun things you can do with pictures of your students' faces, and that's motivating itself.
That's fantastic. You know what that made me think of was, I think it's Polaroid just started making a new camera where it actually prints the picture out of the side like the old Polaroids used to.
I have to look into that because that would be you take up a whole session sometimes printing out.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, especially if it has a sticker back. I don't know if it does, but if it did, that'd be amazing.
That would be, teacher needs to make that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jill says, so relevant for a group she's working with now. Awesome. I'm glad this is helping.
Great.
Okay, so group therapy, wrong versus different, opinion versus fact. Talked about some fun ways of how to work on facial expressions. And then finally, we have open-ended activities where there's not one right answer. So tell us some examples of how these look for your sessions.
Absolutely. So sometimes it could take weeks or months for students to finally start understanding perspective taking. It has to stay fun. They can't get frustrated. This is why I always suggest open-ended activities where there's no clear winner, and sometimes there's not even a clear ending. That way, your students continue wanting to come to speech even though they're being challenged every time. So I like to recommend the bingo dab worksheets that are like a huge hit right now. A lot of role play activities where your kids actually get up and out of their seat and they act out a scenario where they have to use their facial expressions. Sometimes in the middle of role playing, I turn the lights off and I yell, freeze! And we have to talk about the facial expression or the body motion of the person who's role playing. Why does he have, why are his eyebrows slanted down? Why is her mouth open wide? We do things like that. And the last thing is craft centers, which I'm a big fan of because what SLP doesn't like crafts. And actually, I saw on Pinterest just this morning, someone did a blog post. I have to look back and see who it was, on an adorable ice cream craft with bowls of pom-poms and bowls of chocolate chips. And every time your student, this is open-ended because every time your student answers one of your questions, like, how would you feel if, they can get to put on a chocolate chip. They can get to add a pom-pom. Anything open-ended. I always encourage that because you need to keep it fun. Don't make it competitive, in my opinion. Some kids thrive on that, but for kids who have social skill challenges, competitive, I would stay away from it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that can be too much because then they're focusing on the competition and not learning the skill that you're actually working on.
Right.
Perfect. So when you're doing these open-ended activities, you mentioned asking them questions about, like, how would you feel if? Is that kind of the next step once you've done, like, opinion versus fact and facial expressions and stuff?
Absolutely. I do role-playing like that. I do board games, or once they're at the level, board games with cards that say, your mom is yelling at you to clean up your room. How does mom feel? How do you feel? That's definitely the next step when they realize that other people do have other thoughts and perspectives on the situation.
Yeah. Okay. And now this is just for my own curiosity. Do you end up doing any push-in to help with generalization, or are you kind of just giving strategies to the teachers and parents once they do well in the therapy room?
I always try to push in. Once the student starts to, because most of my kids are seen in groups, so I have that advantage. Once my students are starting to show comprehension that other students do have different perspectives, that's when I'll make the leap and ask the teacher and say, so-and-so is starting to understand this. Can I push into recess? Can I push into art? And then I'll ask them to strategically place a student next to my own who would be a good model for them.
And then do you just kind of prompt them with, like, what do you think she's feeling kind of thing?
Exactly. If I see a model of poor behavior, or if a teacher gets angry, or if a teacher gets happy, I'll ask, why do you think she's raising her voice? Or why do you think she looks upset? Things like that.
Perfect. I love that. Okay. That was a bonus for you guys. That was your extra on there. All right. Let's see. I'm glad you mentioned getting the parents' permission to take photos of the child. Protecting privacy is so important. Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime you're doing pictures or sending things home, you definitely need to be checking with the parents, make sure everybody's on board with that.
Definitely.
All right, so we have talked about 5 wonderful tips, plus a bonus, for working on social skills for perspective taking. So now we're going to talk about our resources and do a giveaway. So stay tuned for the giveaway. All right, so what is your favorite resource for working on this?
I have to line this up with the computer correctly. It says Social Skills for Super Kids.
Yay!
So, this is my biggest seller in my Teachers Pay Teachers store, and it's a very large resource that covers just about every step that we talked about. It starts very simple with identifying, how does this boy feel? He's smiling. You can talk about why he might be smiling. Then it has things like, can you make, this is difficult, this girl look, and then you would decide on an emotion.
Perfect.
It has, circle the girl who feels angry, embarrassed.
Mm-hmm. I like that because I feel like the cartoon faces are usually easier to start with than real faces. So you can start here and then move to the actual pictures.
Yes, and again, if you have photo permission, you can make the same exact activity with the friends of your student, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Then it gets a little bit more complicated once your students are ready. It has like scenarios.
Oh, cool.
Let's see. All the children around you are laughing. Why do you think they're laughing? How do they feel? How might you feel if you don't know why? Your teacher wants you to feed the class pet. You feel afraid. What can you do? How would your friends feel? Things like that.
Nice.
And then it has stories. Again, this is difficult to line up. Short stories. Short, like 3, 4, 5 sentence stories. And then it has 2 comprehension questions.
Ooh, nice.
How does Marco feel? Why do you think Marco feels that way? And I like to pair up my students and have them do it together and then see if their answers match. And if not, why don't they match?
Nice.
So that's my favorite resource. And that's also the one I'd love to give away.
All right. So where can people find that resource if they're interested in that and do not win our giveaway today?
So you can find it at my Teachers Pay Teachers store. And my store name is Lauren DiBiase. It's DiBiase. That's my whole store name.
Perfect.
And it's right at the top of the page.
All right. And Heather says you can make your own emotion cards using Google Images. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Just make sure use a little bit of caution there because sometimes Google image searches will pull up like just people's like their random blogs or something, So just make sure that you're not distributing those in mass. Like if you just need it for a worksheet for one kid, that's fine. But just kind of use caution with Google Image because you do not have copyright protection on those.
Absolutely. And you never know what will pop up, so I never do it with students in the room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good call. Never. Don't Google search. Even with the safe search, it's not always safe. All right, let's see. Okay, so we have 2 giveaways. The first one is going to be that social skills for super kids. The second giveaway is going to be my membership. You're going to get 2 free months in the membership. If you're not familiar with that, that is the Speech Therapy Solution. And that is my membership for speech language pathologists where we do lots of answering questions. There's a Facebook group for answering questions. I have training videos, ready to go therapy materials you can print out, and we do a monthly webinar. And I'm working on getting CEU accreditation. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, that we're gonna give away 2 free months to somebody for that membership, plus the social skills group or book. Sorry. So I am going to ask a question. The first 2 people to respond here on Facebook Live with us right now on February 20th. If you're watching the recording later, you don't get to enter. But if you're with us live right now, the first 2 people to answer are going to win. The first one will win the social skills book. The second one will win my membership in the Speech Therapy Solution. Okay, here's the question. We ready? Name your favorite perspective-taking tip. This can be a therapy tip. This can be something we talked about today or something else that you like to do. But the first 2 people to answer are going to win today. If you are interested in joining the membership and you do not win today, you can go to speechandlanguagekids.com/join. All right, Heather Kelly McKay, you are the winner of the social skills book. You said fact or opinion. So you are going to win that one. And Regina George, you are winning mine, the membership. You get the 2 free months. So let me come back over here. Make sure I got this. Okay. So Heather won yours. How do you want her to contact you for that?
Absolutely. I will send her a PM once this video is over. And Heather, I'll get your email address and I'll send it right over to you.
Perfect. And Regina, you can get your free membership by sending me an email to Carrie, Carie, at speechandlanguagekids.com, and my assistant Kenna will get you hooked up. All right, and we have a whole bunch of other people going in as well. Wonderful. All right, thank you guys so much for that. Okay, so that's it for today. We shared some fabulous tips for you for perspective taking. We hope that helps you with your social language kids. If you have more tough cases that you'd like some help with, head on over to speechandlanguagekids.com/join, and we would be more than happy to help you problem solve those cases and give you lots of fun resources. And Lauren, where can people learn more about you and find out all of the fun stuff that you have to offer?
Please come visit me at my blog, slplaurendibiase.com. I would love you to comment, and I will be able to talk to you directly right there.
Perfect. And you also have your Teachers Pay Teachers store with more good products and goodies, right?
Yes, and that's my store name is my name, Lauren DiBiase.
Perfect.
Please come check it out.
Wonderful. All right, thank you for everyone who was able to watch with us live. We do these live every Monday afternoon on Facebook. So you can head over to my Facebook page next Monday afternoon and catch the next one. I don't remember what we're doing next week, so I can't tell you. But we'll see you there. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today on The Speechie Show. We hope today's tips have helped you feel a little less stressed and a little more confident about your work. If you're looking for more stress busters and confidence boosters, we'd love to have you join us in the Speech Therapy Solution, where you'll get access to a huge library of premium training videos and another library of print-and-go therapy materials. You can also get help with your tough cases by joining Carrie on the weekly Q&A calls or by posting in the exclusive Facebook group. Plus, group members can join us for a monthly webinar that can be used for continuing education credit. Head on over to speechandlanguagekids.com/join to check out all the amazing benefits of the Speech Therapy Solution membership. Bye for now.